right, Betty. We were talking about the budget, the fight over taxes and spending here with the chairman of the Budget Committee here in the Senate, Ken Conrad of North Dakota. Good to see you.
Always good to be with you.
You had a surprise yesterday for both Democrats and Republicans here on Capitol Hill. Instead of submitting a new Democratic budget resolution today in committee, you're going to introduce the Bowles-Simpson plan. Tell me why.
Because I think that's what the country needs. Look, at the end of the day, if we don't come together around some kind of bipartisan plan, nothing is going to happen. And the country needs us to act. We're borrowing 40 cents of every dollar we spend. The only bipartisan plan that has had substantial support on both sides is Bowles-Simpson. So that's what I'm advancing. That's what I'm putting before the committee. And I recognize we probably won't act before the election. But right after the election, we're going to face the expiration of all the tax cuts. We're going to face a sequester, an additional $1.2 trillion of cuts. Hopefully that will motivate colleagues to make the hard decisions.
You're a retiring member of the U.S. Senate here, so you don't have to face a re-election. Talking about the support you think this could get. The president never fully embraced Bowles-Simpson. Is he aware of what you're doing now? Is there any support from the White House for what you're doing?
I can't speak for anybody else. I informed the head of OMB yesterday that this is the tack I would take. I have informed my colleagues every step of the way this is the direction that we're going. I've found a lot of support. In fact, I've had dozens of colleagues call me and say, way to go, this is what we need to do, but probably can't happen until after the election. Look, I understand that. It's very hard for both sides to get out of their fixed positions right before an election. But what's absolutely essential is we take on this debt threat, and I think Bowles-Simpson at least provides the best building block to take on this question.
What happens between now and again, Tax-mageddon, people are talking about, the expiration of the Bush tax cuts, the sequesters, the automatic spending cuts that are kicking in at the end of the year. There are a lot of folks out there in the markets looking at this very nervously and saying, how can both Republicans and Democrats wait until after the election? There's not enough time. This is going to cause incredible uncertainty.
What my belief is, we got to take this time to do the homework to be ready to act when the time is right. You know, Bowles-Simpson itself was designed in this same way. It was designed to have the vote right after the 2010 election for this very reason. So I have tried to be faithful to the vision of Bowles-Simpson, both in terms of the plan itself, but also in terms of its execution.
Is this a Hail Mary? I mean, this is a plan that did get a vote in the House of Representatives, 38 votes in support, at least something comparable to Bowles-Simpson. This is a long shot at best.
Look, at the end of the day, we are going to face the expiration of all the Bush-era tax cuts. We're going to face that sequester. That's going to happen at the end of this year. That is going to provide, I think, motivation to do what really has to be done in any event. So, look, I'm hopeful. Is it hard? Absolutely. And the vote in the House, I think, demonstrates that timing is everything.
What about the taxes here? We've had a fight in the Senate over this buffer rule put forward by the president, by Democrats in the House of Representatives. Tomorrow they're going to vote on a small business tax cut. It looks like both of these plans going absolutely nowhere. This is just politics right now in the meantime?
Look, I think it's very clear that those of us who enjoy higher income are going to have to do somewhat more than we're doing. But we're going to have to ask everybody to contribute to this solution. Again, when you're borrowing 40 cents of every dollar, you're not going to solve this problem just by waste, fraud, and abuse. It's going to take systemic reform. We're going to have to deal with entitlements. We're going to have to deal with reforming the tax system. My own belief is reducing rates but broadening the base by eliminating or reducing tax expenditures that are now, we're spending more money through the tax code than we are the appropriated accounts.
Walk us through exactly how this would play out, because this lame duck session of Congress after the election, at that point we'll know who the next president is, whether it's President Obama or Mitt Romney. How does this work? Is it a stopgap measure, you think, that gets us into 2013? Or do you think that Congress and an administration could actually sit down and work something out in December?
I think it could happen in December or very early on in the next year, but only if the homework is done now. That's why I decided not to go forward with just another Democratic budget plan. We've got Democratic budget plans and Republican budget plans. What we need is something that brings us together, and I think Bowles-Simpson is the best place to start.
Hail Mary or otherwise, Ken Conrad has introduced the Bowles-Simpson plan in the Senate Budget Committee. Will happen this afternoon. Betty will have to wait and see what happens to it here in the full Congress.